It's not for me to say you love me. It's not for me to say you'll always care. Oh, but here for the moment I can hold you fast and press your lips to mine and dream that love will last as far as I can see. This is heaven, and speaking just for me, it's ours to share. Perhaps the glow of love will grow with every passing day, or we may never meet again, but then it's not for me to say. Speaking just for me, it's ours to share. Perhaps the glow of love will grow with every passing day, or we
Oh, hi. Oh. Okay, there we go. Hi. Oh, dropped my bottle. Okay, hi. Oh, you're not used to this kind of music? Hold on. I know what you're used to. You're used to one of these. One of these. Yeah. So the reason. Oh, let me. Bleh. Double Zeta, thank you so much for following. Also, Makoto, thank you so much for the 4 months. Let's go. W, baby. Let's go. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I dropped my water bottle. It was empty though, so it was fine. But yeah. So the reason why I played a different song is number one, I just felt like it. I wanted to change it up a little bit. But also, today we're gonna be playing more Omori, and Omori is getting a little serious right now. I mean, to be fair, we left off at a very unserious part. Like we were we were with what's her face, Sweetheart. What was her name? God, I forgot her name. But and she's kind of an unserious person. Apparently, she's a fucking bitch. So we're gonna put some respect on her. We're gonna slap some respect on her face with our squad. But also, I know the story at some point is gonna take a very serious turn. I feel like we're slowly approaching that point. So I'm very, very excited. Oh, Vix, that's for me. But how's everybody doing today? How are you all doing today? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing okay, but I'm so sad because TikTok's gonna get banned on Sunday. No, I missed you. I'm sorry I haven't been here since last year. Oh my god, it has been a year, hasn't it? I've just been really tired lately. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Space Ahoy, thank you for the 7 months. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Sakura, thank you for the 5 months. Let's go. Let's go. You passed your driver's test today? Oh, congratulations. I turned to a fucking squeaky toy. W's in the chat. Yeah, it's been for Spaceho, it's been almost a year for you. It's been almost 6 months. That's crazy. That's insane. I mean, to be fair, I did re-debut 6 months ago. So no, 7 months ago. So I it just kind of the timeline, it matches. Your recovery from your fever? That's great. I'm glad you're feeling better. For me, so for those of you who aren't in the Discord, and by the way, if you're not in the Discord, you should join the Discord. Bloop. I did mention a little bit in the Discord that I slept for like 19 hours today. I went to bed pretty early yesterday, at like 7 p.m., maybe 8 p.m. And then I just stayed asleep. I actually had to go to the doctor today, and I completely missed my appointment because I just slept for so fucking long. So I slept for like 19 hours. I woke up at like 2 p.m. today. And when you sleep for that long, it's not a great feeling. Like, I woke up with such a bad headache. Like, my head hurts so much. Although it does feel a little better right now. It did not feel that good like 2 hours ago. Hey Kyoko, welcome back. That was me today. I mean, to be fair, you were sick, so it does kind of check out. Like, you should be getting your rest. Like, you should, because rest is the best medicine that you can get, for most things. Obviously, for some things better than others, but for me, I'm not sick. Like, I'm not sick at all. As you can hear, la 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 la. I'm very, eccentric. I'm very fine right now. So I don't really understand why I slept for so long. But you know what? We take those L's. We live with them. Live, laugh, love. We just. Hi, Sophia. Welcome back. Do I have water? I did drink water earlier. I just brushed my teeth actually, so I'm trying not to drink water right now. Nico, welcome back. Welcome back. I have all A's on my classes besides 2 classes. You have B's. Listen, you're a better student than me, okay? Like, literally when I was in school, like not college, but school, like school, I literally was a C average student, which was the lowest grade you could get because my school did not have D's. No D's in my school. It was A, B, C, F. And if you had like a 69% or lower, you failed. Which was a little bit of pressure because I know most schools have A, B, C, D, and you could still pass with a D. But my school did not. And if you got a what would be a D, you failed pretty much. Failure was not an option at my school. You have all the honors classes. What? That's crazy. I was in AP history, and it was way too hard for me at the time, so I had to stop. I feel like now, granted, I probably would do better just because my way of studying has improved since I was in school, and just prioritizing, because my priorities when I was young were not what you should have been prioritizing. And even then, I didn't really have my priorities in that regard like worked out. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm kind of here flopping. I've had my flop era. It's done. It's over. I spit on that thing. It's hot. It's hot. Out of here. It's gone. Like TikTok on Sunday, it's over. Okay, no more flop. I have honors. Whoa, that's crazy. You're trying to get into Harvard? Well, you know what? Good luck, because Harvard's really hard to get into. Oh, Sakura, thank you for the 100 bits. Let's go. Oh my god, is that another hype train? Level 1. Oh, level 2, baby. Level 2. Okay. I had no idea that was a thing. It is a thing. Not for most schools, it's not a thing. For most schools in America, where I live, it's A, B, C, D, and then F. And then F, you fail. D, you can pass, but it doesn't look good on your report card. It doesn't look good like if you're trying to get into a good school. Oh, Vic, thank you for the 245 bits. That's very specific. Thank you for the 245 bits. Let's go. I'm tired. I've been busy with classes and other stuff. That is true. Like, I know school has already started for like 90% of you already. I know some of you guys still have a kind of a big break. So your school doesn't start until like February. That's how it was for my school also. Like, we had like a month-long Christmas break, and then like 1 week of like spring break. Hi Hanukkah, welcome. But yeah, so I really feel for you who are struggling with school right now, because I literally am not like a good student. I'm a great student. No, but I wasn't a good student. I feel like now that I have my priorities straight, I'm such a good student. I'm like goated. I'm goated when it comes to my priorities. But I think that my worst subject is easily math. I had to think about it for a second. Yeah, math is probably my worst subject. No D's. Yeah, no D's. No D's at all, which does suck because I feel like I would have really benefited from having D's. It would have saved me a lot of stress, but at the same time, it does look good on my report card to have C's rather than D's. Yeah, I'm not a math person either. And it's crazy because my dad, who I don't talk about, not that I have a bad relationship with him or anything, I never bring him up, but my dad, he is a genius when it comes to math and science and school in general. Like, he was like when he was a kid, he was what you call like a nerd, like a stereotypical nerd, goody two shoes, teacher's pet. Like, he was he had like a 4.3 GPA. Like, he's insanely smart. Me on the other hand, well, I'm a dog, so there's that. There is that. I am a dog. So take with that what you will. Come to your own conclusions when it comes to that. But I am not a genius by any means, by any stretch of the word. No, I'm a half breed. I'm a half breed, half dog, half not. Same with history. I feel like I'm really good at like history and English. That's like where I excel at. Because I did take like not like a test for your intelligence, but just like where you were at school. And for me, I was always like a little below when it came to math. I took it in like 6th grade. I got tested for not for IQ, but like just like where you are in your academics, where you excel at, where you're lacking, just to see where you might need help. So apparently, when I was in 6th grade, or when I was like 12, my math was like maybe like a little below 6th grade level. Also, thank you so much for following. Welcome. Local homeless rat, do not steal my food, please, rat. But my English was at a 10th grade level, which was 4 grades above. Oh, Aja Wolfie Girl, thank you so much for the tier 1. Let's go. That's a W. So I was very, I guess not smart, but I was much more confident in English than I was in math and science. And I feel like that still applies even now, because I feel like my English is like, I'm basically like Professor X with my English, but like with my math, I feel like Caesar the chimp. Like, I feel stupid. Like 2 + 2 at like 6. Like, I don't know. Like, and now you're using those English skills to yap. Well, you know what? I guess there is a W among the darkness. There is a W. VTuber Lover 88, thank you so much for following. Welcome. Among the L's, there is a W, and an X, and a Y, and a Z. I just got back from winter break yesterday and had my honorary ELA teacher assign me a project that was due today. What the hell? Why is that a thing? You low-key like physics? I feel like physics I'm okay at. I'm like okay. I'm like if I were to put this in dog terms, which is very brain rot, but if I were to put this in dog terms, I would be a German Shepherd when it comes to physics. Whereas to math, I would be a golden retriever. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Like, I feel like I'm okay at physics, and math, I suck. You like history? History? I like history too. I like history because, like, I feel like I get to learn more with history. I feel like I'm learning something new with history, like I'm discovering something. Because with history, these are things that have already happened pretty much. Like, we just got to learn, like, what happened. It's just events. Like right now, we're living through historical events right now. So people 40, 50, 60 years from now are going to be talking about what's happening here in their history class, which I think is pretty cool. That's what got me more interested in history than I guess other subjects. You hate memorizing? Yeah. Although I feel like with some people, you can't really control what you remember. Like me, for some things, I have an insanely good, crystal clear elephant's memory. But with other things, I feel like I have the memory of like an apple. Like I just don't remember anything. Like what I ate yesterday, no fucking idea. I have no clue what I ate yesterday. I know I must have eaten something because I was not hungry yesterday, but I don't remember. But if something that happened 20 years ago on the 10th of October on a certain day at 2:55, I'll remember it. I'll remember exactly what happened. And it's not even like a canon event. It's just something that I just remember. I always remember it. Which is kind of odd. It's also kind of inconvenient because I feel like I would much rather remember other things than hyper specific things. Shinzo, welcome back. Mwah. Do you like sashimi and ramen? I do like ramen. I don't think I've tried sashimi. Wait, let me look up sashimi, see if I tried it. Sashimi. Oh, okay, yeah. I do like sashimi. I have eaten it before. Yeah, it's in the back of my mind. You remember it all too well. I do. It's just in the back of my mind. Just, oh, okay, there we go. Oh, Puchita, you want a kiss? Been eating noodles for the last couple of days. You got to add something else to your diet, because I know another server member in the Discord, which by the way, I mentioned it like 10 minutes ago. Join the Discord if you haven't joined. Someone mentioned a while ago that like ramen, like instant ramen, it's or like bulldog, honestly, even it stays in your system for like a week before it fully digests, because it's like ultra processed. So it stays like in your body for like a long time. Oh, and I'm hoping to anyone in chat living in Los Angeles, California will be safe. Yeah, if you guys are in LA, I hope you guys are safe. The fire is not exactly near me right now, but I have seen it along the horizon. It is very scary. It's also sucks because like the one time of year that it's supposed to be really cold, there's a fire going on, so you can't even relish in the coldness. Where did I read that? It's true. It's just true. It's facts. It's gonna stay in your system. Any ultra processed food is gonna stay in your body for a long time. And that's why it causes like so many like disease, because it's so hard to process that food. If your food has like 20 or 50 ingredients, it's ultra processed at that point. Because most food should just be like, for example, avocado has like a bunch of like like vitamins and shit it's made out of, but it's not listed as, oh, it has 2.1% of blah 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 and blah blah blah. It's just avocado. That's all it is. It's simple. Your body can process it. My stepdad, who's a firefighter, so it's like 10% contained. Yeah, that sounds about right, to be honest. That sounds about right. Because because of the winds, because it's windy and it's cold, the fire like grows more and more and more and more like every time. I got my back just in case there was a fire like 20 minutes away from me a few days ago. That is the smart play. I know that when the fire was like peak, like it wasn't being controlled at all, the air quality was really bad and there was like smoke in the air even though there's no fire near me. Like it just covered like a 30-mile, like not 30-mile, but like a 15 to 20-mile radius. So it was really, 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 really scary at one point. Calmer, thank you so much for following. Welcome. So I'm gonna go do my annual ritual of going to the restroom right before we start a game. So I'm gonna use the restroom really quick, and then we're gonna play some Amori. And hopefully I don't cry. Hopefully I don't die. Hopefully we can get through the story in a breeze. Hopefully we can get a good chunk done today, because I know there's a lot of story left. There's a lot more game to do. So yeah, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Bro, there's already a fire in my area. Now there's a fire in my chat too. But yeah, I'm back. All right, let's open the game. Let's get started. Let's get this party started. Let's get it started in here. Let's see, Amori. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. And then I gotta make myself a little bit smaller. Like, I gotta be very careful because my scroll wheel is so sensitive and I'll disappear if I'm not careful. Okay, there we go. You can see my tits, you can see my face, you can see everything. Okay. Okay, good. Let's actually get rid of the tail. Goodbye, tail. Wait. Ah. Okay, there we go. That's better. That's better. And then bloop. More voice acting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's that time. It's that time, baby. So let's. Okay, everything is good. You can hear everything. Yeah, it should be good. All right, perfect. Continue. Yeah, we were at Sweetheart's Castle. So for those who know, I may get a little lost. I'm perfectly okay with you telling me what I should be. I'm perfectly okay with you telling me what I should be doing, because I just may not know. Because I have, especially with these kinds of games, I feel like I have a tendency of getting lost so easily. Bjork, thank you so much for following. Welcome. All right, let's roll. Pixel horror, let's go, baby, let's go. Oh, don't want to fight you. Go away, please. Go away. Go away, thank you. All right, let's go. Oh, yeah. Aubrey, get over here. Coming. So I have never. This is like my first playthrough of this game. I've never played it before, so this is me going in blind, pretty much. Owl Lover, thank you so much for following. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fuck, where did I go? Where did I come from? Where did I have to go? I think it's this way. Yeah, this is my very first play. There it is. That's where I need to go. Oh. Okay, there's always right here. Okay, yeah, this is Sweetheart's castle. I'm assuming this is Sweetheart. Right here. Alright, Zin, see you later. Oh, Sweetheart, where are you? I got something to show you. Oh, what the hell? Well, this is awkward. Yeah, what the hell? Where do I want to go? Oh, it's an elevator. All right, let's get out of here. Oh, bye, Ray. Goodbye. Oh. Whoa, I want to get out of here. Yeah, I don't want to fight you guys. I'm just a silly guy. Excuse me. Thank you. Anemic Yuki, thank you so much for following. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you enjoy your time here. Oh. What is this? My dear sous chefs, I'm afraid my back just can't take anymore. It is at this unfortunate time that I announce my retirement. But wait, Chief, without you, who will lead us in our task of making the most magnificent cake for the main event? Sous chefs, it is now time for one of you to step up to the limelight. A cake must be baked today. Our very lives are on the line. Oh yes, I hear you, Chief. As the most capable of one of us, I will volunteer and take charge of this task. I won't fail you, I promise. I have a very strong feeling that he's going to fail us. Hey, you there. You four are sous chefs now. Meet me in the kitchen pronto. Wait, are you serious? Aw, shit. We have to cook? Alright, what's up? Oh, Nathan, you want a kiss? What took you so long? Step on it, will you? I can't leave this room until I bake the best cake in existence. I'm gonna bake a cake. I'm gotta do the cooking by the book. Ah, I've been spotted. Please don't tell anyone I'm here. I just like digging in the pantry. I mean, who doesn't? What's a fucking roach? Ew. Alright, let's see. Let's see. So we have an array of ingredients, some more appetizing than others. What is this? Well, what the hell do I do? Do I just... Are you ready to start baking? Just follow my instructions and you'll be fine. I remember the head chef's recipe by heart. What kind of cake? That's a good question. I'm assuming it's going to be like a pink cake. Hey, don't be nervous. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. First, we must preheat the oven to 75 degrees. Excellent work. The next thing to do is to mix the two main ingredients in a bowl. Flour and ping pong balls. Ping pong balls? The hell? Oh, he means eggs. Okay, he means eggs. He means eggs. All right, one. And then... Not garden soil. Not... Oh, no. fucked up. How do I put it down? Yeah. All right. The flour. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm positive. I forgot because he's like a little sprout. He doesn't know what eggs are. You're doing great. Next comes the salt and cheese. Yeah. Beat those two together until it's soup. Salt and cheese. Does he mean butter and sugar? Salt and cheese is a crazy mix. That sounds disgusting. Now we're cooking. Last but not least, grab the sauce and cut it into pieces. The sauce? What does he mean, the sauce? Grab the sauce. Oh, this. Fruit juice. Cut it into pieces? Wait, no. Grab the sauce and cut it? What does he mean? The sauce. Grab the sauce and cut it into pieces. Oh, strawberries. Okay. There we go. Grab the sauce. I don't speak idiot. Magnificent. Now mix them all together and stick it in the microwave. It's that easy. Okay. Is this an assassination attempt? Alright, let's put it in here. Put it in the microwave, baby. You baked a cake. What the heck did you put in there? All done? Beautiful work, I must say. Let's have a taste. Wait, what? What? Why does it look like that? Wait, we did everything right. Why does it look like that? Did we fail? I got an achievement. I killed the sous chef. Wait, was that wrong? Oh, wait, no. Good riddance. That guy was a drag. Now, you ready to bake the... Wait. Now, you ready to actually bake this cake? Cool. So, first thing to do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Okay. Awesome. Now mix some flour and eggs together. Oh, okay. Flour and eggs. I guess we didn't heat it right. It was the wrong temperature. That's why it probably looked disgusting. There we go. Next comes sugar and butter. Beat it until it's nice and fluffy. This guy's a cool guy. Bro said salt and cheese. Like, I don't... So the ingredients were right. But everything else was just wrong. Now finally for the topping. It's just got to be strawberries. Okay. Strawberries. All done? Sweet. Now grab all your stuff, put it in the baking pan, and bake it in the oven. Yeah, unfortunately, he's making so much more sense. I feel bad for the person he killed. He's actually dead. We literally got an achievement for murdering him. I'm so sad. All right, let's do this. God, I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten since yesterday. Looks pretty good. Now that's how you bake a cake. Yep, that'll do it. Finally, a cake. Wait, finally, a cake our late head chef would be proud of. May his memory live on forever. You may go now, servants. Be free. Well, don't mind if I do. Oh, there's a save. Hey. Ba-ba-da-bum-bum. Alright, let's check this out. Where do we go now? There's a lot of different rooms here. I'm guessing we go... Guess we go here? Oh, no. And more, welcome back. Damn, 30 clams? The sprout mole gazes wistfully at Sweetheart's portrait. Can we look at the portrait? a painting of an obnoxious looking person. Oh, I've heard the rumors. I've heard the rumors. Let's see. Where do we go from here? Oh, there's a bed here. I got a bow tie. Let's get as many clams as we can. Yeah, the head chef died. We murdered his ass. You know what? Good riddance too. How dare he give us that egregious ingredients list? It was disgusting. All right, let's see what's in here. Oh, what are we doing here? J. Oh. Let's see. Oh, shit. What does it say? It's A-C-E-B-A? What does that even say? I have no idea what I could say. Okay. Well, let's go back. Do. Oh, you got nothing to say? Alright, let's go back here. Na 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 na. See, I would really benefit, I feel like, from like a map, so I actually know where I'm going. What's that? Oh, jeez. Look at the size of this crowd. We'll never get through this through at this gate. Let's look around for another exit. Maybe the crowd will die down eventually. We should check back here later. So we've been to the right. And I think we've been to the left also. Like, I'm pretty positive we've been here, like we did a task here. But let me double check. Oh. Go away. I don't want to fight you. Da 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 da. And like how I do Hero, yeah, he's just a deep voice boy. What? I don't want popcorn. Thank you though. I think we watched the movie already, right? Oh, what the? Okay, maybe we didn't watch a movie. What is this? All hail, sweetheart. 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 Guys, I think I love Sweetheart. Guys, I think Sweetheart's the greatest person to ever exist. She's like a perfect queen in every way. Oh, is this her? An uncomfortably realistic Sweetheart doll. God, Sweetheart's just the best person in the universe, you know, guys? Like, I think she's like... I think she's like my goddess, my god, my lord, my savior. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think that she does it better. Hi, Glowstick, welcome back. Royal Jax, thank you so much for following. Welcome, welcome. Like, I think I should switch my color palette to, like, pink. Like, all pink. Like, do you think that Sweetheart would like that? Like... You miss me, like, being obsessed with Sweetheart now, because Sweetheart's just the greatest person to ever exist of all time. Hypo, welcome back. Pink Noro. What would Pink Noro taste like? What's happening? Oh. I think we've already been here before. You'd be cute in pink. I just look like strawberry shortcake. Like strawberry milk. Ooh. I think we talked to you already. Yeah, we talked to you. At that time, return to me, you with the empty eyes. Damn, this guy's a little creep. You're tired. Come rest in my arms, baby. Girl, let me love you, and I'll love you until you learn to love yourself. Girl, let me love you. Regular Nora would taste like Red 40? I would not taste like Red 40. I would definitely not. Although I would be spicy. I feel like I'd be like a pepper, like a spicy chicken, like a spicy chicken sandwich. That's me. Guys, where the fuck is Sweetheart? Do we have to do something beforehand? Hot Cheetos and Takis. like I swear I've been like, oh god. Like I'm assuming I have to do something before she's on the rug. Haha again. I'm assuming I'd have to do something like beforehand. But I have no idea what else to do. So we've been up here. I'm assuming now we go down here. Sweetheart is where Sweetheart is meant to be. Well, that's amazing information, but I have no idea where she's meant to be. Alright, Glowstick, happy time zone. I'll see you later. You think I'd be mild? No, I would not be mild. What? Oh, it's you. Let's see, have we been here before? Okay, there's nothing here. No. You think I'd be a Hot Ones like Hot Wing? I could see that. Buff Cookie? No, he's Pluto. Ba 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 ba. Sweetheart's location is on a need to know basis. Oh, so you know? So you know? Yo, guys, you gotta get better at singing. No, 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 no. This won't do it all. You in center left. You call that singing? My cousin's plastic flamingo sings better than you. And don't you think I can't see you in the back row dozing off during the chorus? Pull yourselves together, or else Sweetheart will have us thrown in the dungeon. Huh? These Sproutmoles seem to have run into some trouble. I wonder if there's any way we can help. Hey guys, y'all need a hand? We're professional helpers here, at your service. Oh, thank goodness, the professionals have arrived. We absolutely must have the choir ready before Sweetheart's main event, but there simply isn't enough time. You see, we Sproutmoles become very sleepy when listening to music. So, as you can imagine, the choir keeps putting itself to sleep. Oh, I'm afraid we might have to resort to alternative methods to keep them all awake. I see. No, not to fear, dear fellow Sproutmole. I know exactly what you're talking about. You do? Thank goodness, we're saved. I should have expected as such from professionals. I'll handle this, good sir. You can trust me. Oh, okay. Ah. All right, Kel, what do you got planned? Mr. Virtuoso Mole, sir. I'm all ready to go. Oh, thank you, gracious professionals. We are in your debt. Da, 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 da. Oh. Oh, okay. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I'm seeing an improvement already, but I wonder if we can do better. Do you want to try again, professional? I believe in you, professional. Whip us into shape. All right. Wah. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Seems like we're almost time for the main event. This means we only have time for one more session. Oh, one more session? I believe in you, professional. Whip us into shape. The thing in the left corner. Dun 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 dun. Oh. Thank you for your time. We will try and make do with what we have. Okay, I guess we're good to go. Yes, a pearl. All right, so now I'm assuming we've done everything we need to do, and we can go down and we can, like, just get all our stuff pretty much. Like, the crowd won't be as crazy. Yaha, let's go. Da, 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 da. Excuse me. Thank you. Who's this? Hi Domo, welcome back. Stop, imposters. I know what you are, and you are not Sprout Moles. I must be wondering how I'm able to tell. You see, I am the son of the fabled warrior of legend, Sir Maximus. You may have bested my father, but I am stronger than he. With my impressive lineage and my father by my side, I will be victorious. Alright, let's beat his ass. Come on, it's time to die, Sir Maximus II. Oh! Damn. Well, he kind of got us. Okay. We're kind of getting it. Let's see. Let's attack. Can I ignore myself? And let's attack. No, I cannot let my father's death be in vain. Sir Maximus II is giving Malfoy energy. Listen here, Potter. You never really watched Harry Potter. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's the ghost. Okay. Oh shit. Oh, he's gotta be low. Okay. Let's do attack, and let's heal. Yeah. There we go. Do I know how to ride horses? No. Absolutely not. Father, forgive me. I'm sorry. I have failed you. I know I've ridden a donkey before, but I've never actually like ridden a horse. But I'd like to at some point. Okay, the crowd should be better now. Oh god. Oh jeez. Is it really not done yet? Oh my god. What else do we gotta do? Can you show me how to ride? Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wait, no. I can show you how to ride. Yeah. Okay, that sounds better. Oh, there we go. Okay, the Alpha. KTH Alpha, thanks so much for following. Welcome. Ready to riz me up. How's stream going? Stream's going pretty good. Oh, this is Sweetheart's bed. What are we playing? We're playing Amori. On a body pillow. Is it of Space Boyfriend? Poetry by Sweetheart. A day it was. Such a lovely day. Hi, Akaza. Welcome, welcome. I've technically been watching the whole time, but I haven't been able to talk. Oh, that's okay, Akaza. How are you doing today? How's work? Okay, that's Space Boyfriend. And then... Son, thank you... Son, thank you so much for following. Welcome, welcome. Captain Space Boy. Alright, let's check it out. Check it out. Oh. Wait. Tosca. Thank you so much for following. Welcome, welcome. Damn, I guess there's nothing here. What are you doing in here? Common Sproutmoles aren't allowed in Sweetheart's chambers. You know the rules. Wait a minute. Perhaps you'll be able to help me. Sweetheart ordered me to move this statue out of her bedroom before she returns, but I can't get it to move at all. If only this thing was suddenly and conveniently smashed into itty-bitty pieces. Well, ma'am, what it sounds like to me is you're in need of some distraction. And Aubrey here happens to be a distraction specialist. Aubrey? Well, that's a very strange name for a Sproutmole. Then again, Sweetheart has been running out of new names to give us as of late. Wait, Cal? Isn't that a statue of Captain Spaceboy? I would feel bad destroying it. Psh, it's not like he's ever going to know. Captain Spaceboy and Sweetheart are a thing of the past. Live and let live. That's what I always say. You don't always say that, but fine. I guess I can give it a shot. All right, Aubrey, do your stuff. Okay, here I go. This time, I won't fail. Oh, damn. Wait, she really did that. My word, you've done it. Well, time to clean this up. Damn, that was quick. Whew, you're real lifesavers. I should have known to just leave this task to the specialist. Oh. Oh, okay. Another Sweetheart. Hi, Monarch. Welcome back. My. Well, this is a surprise. Turns out all I had to do was lift it from the bottom. Wow, you had us do all that work for nada? Alright, we should be good now. Oh, Monarch, you want a kiss? Mwah, 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 mwah. Mwah. Who are you? Stop, imposters. I know what you are, and you are not Sproutmoles. You must be wondering how I'm able to tell. You see, I am the son of the fabled warrior and legend, Sir Maximus II, and the grandson of Sir Maximus. You may have bested my father and grandfather, but that has only fueled my rage and thirst for vengeance. With my impressive lineage and my father and grandfather by my side, I will be victorious and avenge my family. There are way too many of these fucking Sproutmoles, I swear to God. Alright. You're going down, buddy. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's beat his ass. Let's go! Why I oughta? No, I cannot let my father and his father's death be in vain. Come on, Sir Maximus III, it's time to die. It's time to die. It's time to die. Oh shit, she's fucking dead. Oh no. Oh shit. I gotta heal myself. Oh fuck. Oh, he's so low. Father, grandfather, I'm sorry. I have failed you. Thank God he's finally dead. I don't want to deal with another Maximus in my life. Never again. Hey, is it just me or does it seem quieter all of a sudden? Well, there's a crowd of Sproutmals at the entrance earlier. Oh no, wasn't there? I don't see them around anymore. They must have finally pushed their way inside. Let's follow them, Amari. Maybe they can lead us out of here. Alright, let's roll. Let's roll out, Norobots. Bro killed all of our friends before dying. I know, right? What a jerk. What's going on here? We're finally at a Sweetheart's Castle. I wonder what's up with the big event everyone's preparing for. Strange. I don't see the Sproutmals from the entrance anywhere. Where could they all have gone? There must be a hidden exit somewhere. Let's poke around at anything that looks suspicious. Anything that looks suspicious, huh? Let's check it out. No, 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 no. What's the password? Beautiful. And? Beautiful. Mole? No. Fuck, what is the password? Flamingo? And sized? And statue? You said beautiful flamingo-sized statue. Wrong! Oh. Oh, wait. I know what it is. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's try this again. Beautiful mole sized statue. What? Wrong? What do you mean wrong? I was right. What the? That sounds right to me. What the fuck is that? Hello? Horse by it. The sprouts are very cute. Oh, what the hell? Actually go around and look for the code, but that requires work. I don't want to do that. All right, let's do this. It's sort of painful to Gnarls brute force most games and puzzles. Have I really been brute forcing them all? I don't think so. Not all of them. Really? Oh man, that's embarrassing. How you been? Welcome back. I guess I am a dog. I guess that is true. Hi Stardust, welcome back. Okay. I just want to make sure that does actually heal our health and stuff. Alright, let's check it out. Maybe this way, maybe? I did see like a little button here. Well, ouch! That hurt! Is everyone okay? What happened? That sweetheart's topiary just fired a laser at us. There's just gotta be a way to get rid of these guys. Fuck, okay, hold on. Oh, we actually took damage. That's so... Ah! Okay, that's fine. This is fine. Oh, yep. Okay, Kel, get over here. Laura, I'm gonna steal the buttons off your keyboard and all the batteries in your devices. Alright, sweetheart. You asked for this. Hey-ya! Dang, I missed. Oh, silly Kel. You're not going to knock out anything throwing like that. Why don't you try aiming for once? Huh? Aim? do that?
Of course! Even you can aim, Cal.
All right, I'll give it my best shot. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I know what to do. Wait, no. Wait, what am I doing? What am I trying to aim at? Wait, okay, hold on. What am I actually trying to aim at? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Did I already get it? Oh, I did get it. Wait, no, I didn't get it. Okay, and then we go this way. Yeah, okay. Oh, and then... Yeah, okay, I got it. See, guys, I told you I'd get it. Oh, Fukashi, thank you so much for following. Welcome. Okay. Did I miss anything? Is there anything I need to, like, look at? Nope, I think everything's good. Orange pound cake. I've never heard of that before. Oh, God. I kind of want to try orange pound cake. It does sound good. It sounds really good. Oh. All right. Okay. Anything else? They were good. Oh! What are y'all's favorite desserts? Tiramisu. Tiramisu easily. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. No. Coffee cake is different from tiramisu. Coffee cake is like... It's drier than tiramisu. There are 4 passwords that must be spoken to Sweetheart's statue to unveil the secret tunnel. Naturally, as one of the chosen elite, I have been given the responsibility of guarding the fourth of 4. But, I'm supposed to hold on to this super secret password and everything, right? But, like, it's about food. So now I'm just here thinking about food all the time. It's making me so hungry. I've started chewing on the grass to curb my appetite. Can you believe it? They should really start providing food to the guards around here. And like, what kind of password is Donut anyways? As in like that stupid pet name the weird blue guy always said called Sweetheart or something? Please, that's no secret at all. Anyone could guess that. They were always walking around here acting all coupley, calling each other names like that back and forth, saying things like, why don't you ask me to marry you yet? And I'm sorry, my friends don't approve of this relationship all the time. Ugh, so annoying. But whatever. I'm still stuck here guarding the passwords with those 3 other guards. Those guys couldn't keep a secret to save their lives. Huh, that's right. Pity me if you want. See if I care. Here I am trapped in this lonely little corner in the garden, guarding the word donut of all things. Jeez Louise. Yo, thank you. What is bro talking about? That's a good question. What is bro talking about? Bro is a Yaposaurus. So I'm assuming there was another guard here. Yep, there we go. There are 4 passwords. You wanna know the password, eh? Not so fast, buddy. I gotta say, you're awfully tall for a sprout mole. How do I know if you really are one of us highly intelligent and majestic creatures? You think I'd ever spill the password to a potential spy? Don't make me laugh. If you're so sure you're a sprout mole, why don't you prove it? I'll tell you a password if you can guess what I am thinking about right now. Oh, delicious tofu. I apologize for ever doubting you. I guess there are all kinds of sprout moles out here. Now, lean in closer. The password that I've been entrusted with is jelly. You got that? Promise you won't tell anyone, okay? I promise. So that's the 3rd password. So jelly donut is the last 2 words. All right, let's go. Take a bite. No. Oh, what the hell? Hey, yo?
You, bulbous one. Your eyes. They tell me that you yearn to learn. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I will teach you. Come.
The bulbous? What? Is it you? Is it a Mori? You think he has the sparkle in his eyes? You think Amori's the one with the sparkle in his eyes, huh? Is that okay?
You have come. Excellent. Now observe. The hard bulbs, like the one behind me, hold creatures like me.
Oh, thank you, Vix. Mwah. Mwah. Thank you. I'm so happy that I'm getting better at Mother 3. What is that?
However, we are unable to escape by our own means. With a very specific and intricate cutting technique, one would have to be able to release us from our buddied fate. However, this technique takes years, perhaps even decades to master. If you agree to learn it, there's no telling how long this will take. Yet with time, I believe you will do great things. Are you ready to take on the challenge and become my disciple? Excellent, excellent, excellent. You have grown so much, unlike this bowl behind me. Now, cut it using your perfected technique, so that it may live.
Well, okay.
At last, I'm free. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
We need a head pat redeem. I have to set that up this week because I've wanted a head pat redeem for so long. For so long. But I've never had one. I know it takes like a little setting up to actually do it, but I do want to do it at some point. Okay, there we go. Take this. It's a gift from me. Excellent, 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 excellent. All right, let's head out. So I'm assuming now that we can like jump over shit. I think so. Saving up points. All right, let's roll. La da da da. La da 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 da. Alright, let's see. What's the other password? What's the first word? Huh? You want to know the password? Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to tell anyone. Huh? You really need it? Like you really need it? Like you really need it? Like you really need it? I guess I have no choice then. But you have to promise not to tell anybody else. Pinky swear on it. And done. Huh. I was worried you might have been someone untrustworthy. Now, lean in closer. The password I have been entrusted with is filled. You got that? Promise you won't tell anyone, okay? I promise. Not, at least not to anyone you know. Alright, let's see. Yeah, we pinky swore on it. Like, because we really needed it. Alright, let's see. It's a beautiful day out in the garden, isn't it, brothers and sisters? You are saying you would like to know the password? I apologize. I'm afraid that's not in my jurisdiction. Though, I suppose something tasty, off-white, and cubish may change my mind. Oh, delicious, irresistible tofu. I suppose I can let it slip just this once. Now, lean in closer. The password I've been entrusted with is sweet. You got that? Promise you won't tell anyone, okay? I promise. Of course I do. I'm just gonna tell the whole world. Tofu isn't even like tasty. It doesn't taste like anything. Oh god. Tofu's meant to be like flavorless. Alright, soupy sweet jelly filled donut. Sweet. Oh no, I fucked up. Yeah. I fucked up. Okay. Alright, let's try this again. Tofu is ditto confirmed. Sweet. Jelly. Filled. Donut. Billy, thank you so much for following. Welcome. You said sweet jelly filled donut. Fine. Hi, welcome. It can transform into anything, and tofu does the same. Really? Okay. Dear sweetheart, I love you so much. Let us have kids and spend the rest of our lives together. I would like that very much. Thank you. quiet. What the hell is that noise? Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. All right, let's see. Where is that? Oh, it's here. I think. What? Where is that? Oh, it's up here. It's up here. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Okay. Can you buy some life jam? Oh, I guess. But maybe we'll afterwards. Maybe we'll check it out. We finally made our way out. Whoa, what's with all these decorations?
It looks like someone's about to get married.
Oh, the show's about to start. Let's hide. All right, let's see. All right, what's up? What's gonna happen? Welcome all, welcome all. Today is a most momentous occasion. After 42 seasons of Sweetheart's Quest for Hearts, it is now time to air our final episode. It's has been a splendiferous run. Thank you all for your viewership. For as long as we've been on air, we have rigorously looked for a perfect suitor for our beloved Sweetheart. And each time, regretfully, Sweetheart was unable to find her one true love. But this time, we believe that we have truly outdone ourselves. This is the moment to end all moments. History begins here. Dim the lights, please. The final episode begins now. Let us commence the wedding. Please welcome to the aisle, Sweetheart's perfect suitor. Oh shit. Oh. Yes, it's true. Now you've seen everything. The answer has been obvious all along. The only suitor magnificent enough for Sweetheart is Sweetheart herself.
Oh, yeah! Yeah! Woohoo! Yeah!
Silence.
Let us begin the ceremony.
Self-incest. Dearly beloved, we gathered here today.
Sweetheart's marrying herself. That's so lame. Don't laugh, Kel. I actually feel kind of bad for her.
Now, does anyone object to this holy matronomy? Speak now or forever hold your peace. In that case, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you Sweetheart and Sweetheart. You may now kiss the... I object. I object this wedding immediately. Oh, it's Aubrey.
I object to speaking immediately. Stop it. Don't do this, Sweetheart. This wedding is a sham. Loving yourself is one thing, but this is taking it way too far.
Not you again. How dare you step foot back in here? Guard! Guards! Guards!
Sweetheart, you're making a mistake. You can't just marry yourself. There's someone out there for you. I know it. Aubrey, what are you doing? She's going to send us to the dungeon again?
You understand nothing, random hero fan. I was a young princess once. I, too, once thought there was someone for me out there in the universe. But that's all in the past now. I no longer believe in true love. I'll never love anyone else ever again. The only person I'm ever going to love from now on is myself. Now, guards.
Caesar.
Hero, I don't think this is a good idea. Sweetheart, listen to me. You don't have to do this. What's this? Could it be? Hero? My hero has come for me. Oh, my sweet hero. I knew you wouldn't leave me alone like this. How you sway me with your words. Although it may be over between us, my heart has not yet forgotten you. I will give you one last chance. Marry me, hero, here and now. Do so, and I will let your fans live. Wait, what? I can't do that. That's crazy. What's this? You reject me again? But how could this be? I don't
Understand.
Uh-oh. Now you've done it. Yes. I've seen everything clearly now. I'll admit it. I was wrong about you, hero. I thought you were a worthy companion. But it seems you are jealous of me just like everyone else. Yes, that must be it. My dazzling looks, my charming smile, my gregarious personality. It must be so difficult for you to even stand my presence. Well, there is no need for despair anymore. I will end your suffering personally. Oh, what's happening? Oh, Miku Miku Beam. Farewell, miserable pants. I'll lock you up in the dungeon
Forever.
All right, let's beat her ass. It's coming. What's coming? Oh my god, we barely done anything to her. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh wait, this is kind of a banger. Hold on. Yeah, okay, okay. Hey, yo. Oh fuck, she hit us like crazy. Da 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 da. Oh no! Are you serious? Are you serious? What is happening? Okay, hold on. Okay, let me. Can I heal? Can I heal them? Do I have any life gem? I do. Let's freaking go, baby. You have to buy 5. Really? It's pointless, you fools. You cannot dampen my positive energy. Sweetheart became happy. Sweet. Oh, damn. All right, let's see if we can. Oh, we have jam packets. We have. Okay. Oh shit. What the hell? Shit, fuck, what do I... Oh, I can't do that. No, she can't be sad or angry anymore. She's just happy forever. Fuck. Oh, hero. Fuck. Oh my god. I gotta heal Aubrey. I gotta revive her. Wait, what? What did I do? Oh, no, I don't want to use jam packets. There we go. Okay, there we go, there we go. You dare raise your fist at me? Fools, you should be groveling on your knees! Let's do that. Guards! Wait, what? Oh, okay. I will never fucking growl at you, stupid bitch, sweetheart. I'm going to beat your ass. You're going to be done. You're going down like the clown that you are. We're going to bark at you. We're going to howl at you. It's over. It's done. You're done, so. You're done. We're gonna commit arson on Sweetheart. I've had enough of you. God, she's really tanky. Okay, hold on. Oh, Kel's dead. Kel is dead. Oh God, what do I do? Oh God. I missed her. Oh no. All right, let's use the jam packet. Please, please, please don't kill them again. Please don't kill them again. Okay. Ah, thank God. Hi Yuki, welcome back. Shut up, sweetheart, shut up. I think I need to heal Amori. Oh God. Okay, now I need to heal myself. Let's do... Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we literally got this. We got this in the bag. I want to try and save up my super energy. Because I want to do like an ultimate move on her. Oh God, okay. You should play Red Dead Redemption 2 story mode. I think I have like an hour into it on my own, but that is a series I do want to do at some point. I think it would be really fun to play that game, but I don't know how many of you guys would actually be interested in that. That's why I'm like, there are some games I feel like will do well on stream, and some games where I feel like maybe like the general people, like people who watch me, wouldn't find it very interesting. So I really like pick and choose like what games I play. Oh God. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. I see you're still standing. Cockroaches are resilient, I suppose. Sweetheart, fuck you. She literally called us cockroaches. Oh, hero, my hero! Your smile charms my heart. I will make it burn. Okay, I got a cue. Actually, you know what? I could do one of these where it's like boop, 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 and then... There we go. Oh, Kel's dead. Kel is dead. Oh my god. Alright, let's heal Kel. Oh god. I really don't like fighting her. I hate her. Come on, we can do this. Oh, release, release, release! Alright, let's do this. Hey, yo! Yo, yo, okay, beat her ass! Beat her ass, beat her ass! Beat her ass! You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done, sweetheart. You're done. No. Is this what they call defeat? I cannot accept this. I will not accept this. You are not nothing but a bunch of lonely peasants. First try, too? That's crazy. First try. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Let me... Sorry, I got like a random message I had to respond to. Okay, there we go. How could this be? You're all nothing. How dare you defy me? Throw them to the dungeon. Guards. Guards. How far have I gotten? I've only gone like maybe like an hour or so into it. Like, I think I'm only at the snowy. I'm like at the part where they're about to hitch the train at the beginning. That's really all that's as far as I'm in right now.
It's over, sweetheart. The wedding is canceled.
No, I cannot accept this. Just leave me alone. What's happening? Oh, is that Space Boyfriend? My sweetheart. Oh, my sweetheart. I'm so relieved that I made it in time. You must stop this madness at once. Oh, okay. Captain Spaceboy? You idiot. I thought I told you to never show your face in front of me again. Oh, sweetheart, my sweetheart, my sweet jelly-filled donut. Please look into your heart and give me another chance. I should not have kept you waiting all those days. What are you doing? I'm sorry I didn't do it sooner. No way. No way. No. Marry me, sweetheart. Right here on this very stage. Oh my. This. How romantic.
Sproutmole Mike, I order you to marry us immediately.
Yes, at once, my liege. Dearly beloved, we gathered here to...
Oh, forget the formalities, Mike. True love cannot wait.
Yes, my princess. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you sweetheart and space husband. You may now kiss the bride. Oh, sweetheart, let us travel the universe together and leave all this behind.
Yes, yes, my husband. I will go anywhere as long as it is with you.
Let us take part. Let us take leave, my sweetheart. We've been apart for much too long. Come, my ship awaits.
Yes, of course, my dear. But first, there's one last thing I must do. Sproutmole Mike, hand me the button.
At once, my queen. Yeah, she's kind of crazy.
We don't need all this anymore.
Yo, what the hell, sweetheart, what are you doing?
I'm ready now, dear.
At long last, we can be together. Come, my queen, our chariot awaits. Oh, oh. OTP, that's crazy cool. That's crazy. God, I'm so hungry.
So much for a happy ending. I don't think that's going to end well at all.
Yeah, I guess this was a complete waste of time. Well, what the hell do we do now? Can we leave through here? Nope. Time to save. I guess it is time to save. What? Oh, whoa. What the hell? Basil.
What's the matter, Amori? Is something wrong?
Okay, let's save first. All right, let's check it out. It's a long way down. Do you want to jump? Oh, Sour Captain, thank you so much for following. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, whoa. What's happening? Oh, oh. Serafina, welcome, welcome. What the hell? What is happening? I have no idea what's gonna happen. Whoa. What? Where did everybody go? Oh. Oh. A book of interest. One by one they fell asleep on their car ride home. It was a long day at the beach after all, and everyone was exhausted. Censored was first to nod off and then rest. As the sun set over the freeway, Blank's head accidentally dropped onto Blank's shoulder. The sudden jolt wakes him, but he doesn't dare open his eyes. He pretends to be asleep and steadies his breathing. He listens to the sound of the road. He feels the soft sun resting on his skin and the slight tinge of pain on his nose from tomorrow's sunburn. He is happy, very, very happy. And he makes a vow to himself that no matter what, he will remember this moment forever. If I had to take like a fat guess, I would assume that that's like Amori's memory with Basil. puddle of juice sinks into the carpet. Hovering above, it is none other than Blank, holding a juice box. He looks around at his friends, who are all wearing the same face of disappointment. He lets out a guilty chuckle. In what seems like less than a second, Blank disappears out the front door. A tiny black kitten makes her way through the stain, leaving the sloppy wet tracks all over the carpet. Blank's face turns red and yells for Blank, but Blank is already long gone. Blank hands Blank some wet paper towels. It looks like they're the only adults here, and if they don't clean this up soon, the carpet's going to stain. They'll have to deal with Blank later. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Another book. This year, Blank was lucky enough to get assigned to a desk next to a small window. Every day during class, Blank would gaze listlessly through the opening at the shadows of the trees, the clouds creeping overhead. His mind drifted elsewhere, into his own world, his own stories, his own adventures. He had a habit of doing this. It was easy for him to get lost. Today was the same as any other. Blank stared vacantly out the small window as the clouds passed one by one. Suddenly, a hand playfully slaps his back, snapping him out of his reverie. Blank looks away from the opening. Blank smiles. He motions that class is over and that it's finally time for lunch. It's pizza day today, and they need to bolt to the cafeteria before it's all gone. Blank's stomach growls. Me and Blank both, honestly. I'm so hungry. He looks at the small window one last time. He would have to continue his adventure another day. Okay. Yeah, I'm so hungry, but I can't eat right now. You find a book of interest. It's sunset. A strange statue watches over the hidden lake. It might have meant something significant in the past, but time has made its engravings illegible. Either way, it doesn't matter to the company visiting it today. They're only here to use it as a diving board. The brothers take turns jumping off the statue. Blank jumps first, then Blank again, then Blank again. The brothers gleefully urge Blank to join them. After some careful thought, Blank warily agrees. Blank shuffles up the statue and looks down at the moving water. He can hear his heartbeat. Bloom, thank you so much for following. Welcome. His ears begin to ring. His legs feel as if they would give out at any moment. He tries to focus on his breathing. He feels something crawling on his shoulder, and his eyes fly open to meet with those of a black spider. In an instant, Blank loses all sense and hurls himself into the lake. Water fills his nose. He exerts his limbs, but the water is stronger. He is too weak, too helpless, or that is what he believes. Blank shuts his eyes. Hi, wife. Blank shuts his eyes and waits for the brothers to save him. Oh. Ririko, thank you so much for the 2 months. Let's go. W. Hi, Ririko. Welcome back. Oh, it's L. W, baby, W. 7 keys left. What the hell? Okay, I see. What? So, black. So, one of the words is black, for sure. Whoa, whoa. What's happening? Basil. Basil. What? Don't forget it's in the toy box. Don't forget it's in the toy box. Oh shit, we're back here. Oh, Space Ahoy, you want a kiss? Mwah, 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 mwah. All right, Space Ahoy, I'll see you later. It's in the toy box. What the hell? What's in the toy box? Two days left. Guys, I'm a little scared. Oh, I'm just a little afraid. I don't, what is happening? Who is it? Hello? Hello? Noro? Are you there? What would you like to do? Let's open the door. Why not? Let's go. Hi, Noro. Top of the morning to you. Well, more like noon, actually. Turns out Hero's not coming back until around dinner today. I thought I'd stop by a little later. Mom's having me buy some stuff at Faraway Plaza before he comes back, and... Ray, thank you so much for following. Welcome. I thought it might be funner if we went together. Did you want to come along, Noro? Of course you do. Come on. Let's go. Kel smells. What the heck? What happened here? Dang it, it must have been Aubrey and that scooter gang. Noro, be honest. Do I smell? Oh, Riri, you want a kiss? Hi, Cleo. Welcome back. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we gotta stop at Gino's Pizza and the bakery and Other Mart. Oh, they're gonna get food. Oh. Lead the way, Nora. God, I want food so bad. All right, Gino's Pizza. This Gino's Pizza is the bomb.
This is one disgusting, dirty, greasy-looking cheese, just the way I like it. Let's dig in. So, we're still on to go on our secret hangout spot today, right? I'm gonna bring my fishing pole. Made it myself. I had a cool stick and jump rope yesterday. Do you think it will work, Charlie?
What did I eat today? I ate nothing today. Cause I woke up really late.
So we're going to our secret hangout spot? It's a perfect date spot. I'll be sure to bring one of my special ladies. Swimming sounds pretty fun. Well, while you're all fooling around being babies, I'm gonna be busy skipping rocks. I've been looking for the perfect rocks all week. You can try all you want, Kim, but you'll never beat Aubrey's record. Shut up, Mikhail. Like any girls would actually want to go to the lake with you. I told you to call me the map. I bit my tongue. What a loser. Master, are you hurt? You paid for this, Kim.
Okay. All right, let's pick up our pizza.
Hello and welcome to Gino's Pizza. What can I get for you?
Hiya, I'm here to pick up an order.
I see.
What would you like?
Oh, I know. Would you like pizza? Nom nom.
I think my mom phoned in an order for a hero sandwich this morning. I'm just here to pick it up.
Oh, I see. You're the family that keeps ordering sandwiches instead of pizza.
But it's on the menu, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I guess so.
Okay, I'll go get it.
Hi, Jaime, welcome back.
You know, I don't know if I ever told you this, but that's why my brother's nickname is Hero. You'd think it's because of some really cool reason, like he saved a puppy when...
Hero saved a puppy? Okay, I guess he didn't, but that's, you know, if we're gonna make up rumors, we might as well, right?
You'd think it's because of some really cool reason, like he saved a puppy when he was a kid or something. But no, he just really likes sandwiches.
Wait, what? Oh, because the sandwich is called the Hero Sandwich. Oh my god. I was like, why are heroes associated with sandwiches? Okay, here's your Hero Sandwich. Please enjoy. Okay.
Cool, thanks. All right, we're good to go now, Noro. I'm ready when you are. Now we just need to get the cookies from the bakery and other mart.
All right, let's roll. I don't want to talk to Aubrey right now. Whoa.
Food for Noro, please.
What? What the? You didn't have to do that. Come on, Ririko. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to... I promise I'll eat later. I promise. But thank you, though. Thank you. WWW.
Let's go to the bakery. My mom placed an order here.
The bakery. That's the deli. That's the fish. That's the bakery.
Welcome to our family bakery. What would you like?
Hiya, I'm here to pick up an order.
Ah, yes. Your mother said something. Your mother said you'd be coming, though I expected you to be here a bit earlier. I'll go grab your order.
Did you know? This bakery belongs to Mikhail's family. I guess you can't really tell because he wears that horrible yellow wig all the time. Seems like he's making a pretty big effort to stand out and be different.
Here's your order, sir. We hope to see you soon. Please enjoy your baked goods.
Cool, thanks. All right, we're good to go now, Nora. I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, let's go. All right, Mir, see you later.
Baked goods, check. Sandwiches, check. Well, that's everything. And just in time, too. It looks like the sun's about to set. Let's go back to my house. Hero should be coming any time now.
Michoto. Okay, there we go. Hi, Ellie. Welcome back. Da-na, da-na, na, na. Apparently something's gonna happen. I got the impression from you guys who know that something's gonna happen. I have no idea what. I'm very scared. Oh no, it's this way. Also, for some reason, I thought that Aubrey and Kel were siblings, not Hiro and Kel. Making my way downtown, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Wait, which house is it? Is it this one? Wait, I forgot. Which house is it? Is it up? It might be up. Oh, trash. Gotta get my freshly made trash. Yeah, it might be up, honestly. Isn't Kel's house next to yours? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I was like, maybe I just got it wrong before. Oh!
Eat well or I'll abduct you and force feed you. It is.
Thank you, Ririka. Abduct me with Riz? That's crazy. Before we go, okay, I will, I promise. Before we go in, I should probably mention that my mom is going to be a little mad about me taking so long with the groceries. I was supposed to bring everything in back at around noon, but I got carried away and doing other stuff, so, well, you know how it goes. But anyways, I thought of a solution for this. So, I think you should walk in first. That way she'll see you first and get all excited. And most importantly, she'll forget to yell at me. See? It's a win-win for everyone. Got it? Okay, let's go. Oh. Mom, Noro's here. What took you so long, Carol? I sent you up hours ago. How long did it take to get a bedroom sandwich? Oh my, is that Noro? It must be. It's so good to see you again. But dear, you're so thin. Have you been eating properly? Here's the stuff you asked for, Mom. Hurry, Noro. Let's go upstairs to my bedroom. Now wait just a second, young man. Bye, Mom. See you when dinner's done. Let's get the flip out of here. Well, here it is. Make yourself at home. Look, I got a basketball hoop and a boombox, just like I always wanted. Here, I'll play a song for you. All right, let's hear this song. Let's hear this epic song by Kel.
Yup, it's pretty sweet. Mom won't let me play it too loud, though, because she says it's bad for Sally. Oh wait, you haven't met Sally yet, huh?
Red Dead takes about a month to finish. That's crazy.
Guess what, Noro? I'm a big brother now. Sally's my baby sister. My mom will probably bring her downstairs around dinner time. She's really small and really cute.
Cal, there's a girl at the door. She says she's here to see you.
Huh? I wonder who that could be.
Who the fuck's at the door for Cal? Oh, who are you?
Hey, Cal. Hey, Nora. Sorry for intruding. I was just wondering if you know where Basil is. I thought he might be with you. Basil? No, sorry. We haven't seen him all day. Oh, it's okay. I'm sure he'll turn up eventually. He ran off earlier and hasn't come back yet. If you see him, could you tell him to come home? I'm really worried about him. Of course, Polly. We'll be on the lookout. Thanks. I knew I could count on you guys.
What's wrong with Basil?
Basil's missing today? I have a bad feeling about this. Especially with Aubrey and the scooter gang around. Maybe we should try and find him before it gets dark. Can we go look for him, Mom? Pretty please? Well, that girl did look awfully worried. Okay, just make sure to be home at around dinner time.
Okay, if I were Basil, where would I be? Maybe the church? Maybe. That's not the church. The church is down. Yeah, I've been wanting to play Red Dead. I feel like that's a game where I need to really get into it before I play it. What about the park? Oh, maybe. Basil, where are you? I got something to show you. Where the flip is Basil? Basil's not here. Okay, let's try like the mall? Like the mall area? Basil. Maybe I'd fix it? I doubt it, but let's check. Let's check. Basil. Basil. Oh, Basil. What? Greekland, thank you so much for following. There should be a pond around. Oh, maybe. Is there a pond? That was Basil and Mari. And Mari's dead. I don't really like the implication I'm kind of getting from this. But we're gonna look for Basil and just hope he's okay. Basil. A pond? I don't really see a pond. Oh.
Man, where could Basil be? I don't see him anywhere. Somebody help! No, did you hear that? I think that was Basil.
Help me, please.
Where's his voice coming from? Hold on a sec. I know this area. Basil's voice is coming from our old hangout spot.
The entrance is still be somewhere around here. Okay, let's go. Let's check it out. Oh, okay. What? Okay, I guess I have to... Okay, there we go. Oh, shit. Yo, guys, come on. What are you guys doing?
Help me, somebody.
What the heck are you yelling for, Basil? You're making a scene. This place is our secret hangout spot. You can't be here because you weren't invited. Dang it, Basil, be quiet. Someone's gonna find this place. Yeah, we're not trying to hurt you. We just want you to get out of here. Hey, stop it. What are you doing to Basil? What the? It's Kellen Noro again. Why do you always show up? How do you even find this place? Come on, Aubrey. We gotta defend our turf. Oh. Aubrey? Go away, Kel. You're not welcome here. This is our spot. How is this your spot now? Well, this used to be our old hangout spot. Wasn't it, Aubrey? Watch it, or we'll mess you up. Fine. If that's how it's going to be, then at least stop bullying Basil. We weren't even doing anything to him. He just started screaming for no reason. Yeah, sure you weren't. Why should I believe you? We're telling the truth. Stop being such a self-righteous prick. Come on, guys. Let's make sure this is the last time these two mess with us. Sounds good to me. I'm right behind you, the Maverick.
Let's settle this, Cal. If you and Nora are gonna pick a fight with me and my friends, you got one. Come on, gang. Let's teach them a lesson.
All right, let's see. I don't think we can beat them. Yeah, I really don't think we can beat them at all. They have too much main character energy. It is. They do kind of. This is kind of like a main character squad. Is this real life? We won, Master, we won! Serves you right, nerds. Kim, I'm hungry. Let's go get some food.
Cal, Laurel, get the heck out of here, fucker!
Cal and Sunny got jumped by 6 people in 4K HD. Whoa, we really did it. Those evil foes have been defeated. Dang. Sorry, Nora. Why did I think we could take on 6 people at once? Even if they are a bunch of dweebs.
It's over, Cal. Leave this place. You don't belong here anymore.
No, I won't. I can't just leave here knowing that this is the person you've become. I mean, what would Mari think?
Why do you keep bringing her up? Do I have to keep saying it? Mari is already dead.
Can you stop it with that? And while you're at it, drop the tough guy act too. I don't believe you when you say you don't care about us anymore. You have all your new friends now, but you're still hanging out with but you're still hanging out at our old hangout spot. Do I really have to spell it out for you? Don't listen to him, Aubrey. He's just spouting crap like usual. Right, Aubrey? This isn't fun anymore. I want to go home. Let's hang out there. He said it. Why does keep... Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know why Kel keeps bringing it up. You coming, Aubrey? Oh. Okay. Catch you later, then. Aubrey.
Ah! Why? Why do you guys keep coming back? I just want you to leave me alone. Nora, why? Why did you show up now?
We just want you to stop messing with Basil. What's your deal with him all of a sudden? You used to be friends. We all used to be.
You think I'm the bully, but you're all messed up. Where were you when Mari died? Where were any of you?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And you. You're the worst, Basil. How dare you still show your face to me after what you did?
What did they do?
Aubrey, I...
Get away from me. Shoot.
What the heck, Aubrey? What are you doing? You've taken this way too far.
Wait, hold on. I didn't mean to.
No, don't worry about Aubrey. I'll keep her busy. Just go get Basil. Do you want to save Basil? What? Of course I do. Basil, are you okay? Basil. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? That's Mari. Mari? What the hell is happening? What the hap is fucking? I don't think I'm daydreaming. I think I'm dying. Oh, we're getting closer. Okay. Oh my god. Oh. I don't like this. 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 I want to go home. 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 Mari, why are you leaving me? Come back. What? What is that? Something drags you down. Steady your heartbeat. Don't be afraid. It's not as scary as you think. Don't give up. Persist. Nora, persist. Yes, I do. Persist. Focus. Oh, it's oh, okay, okay. Persist. What's happening? Mari? Mari? Hero. It looks like Basil's breathing is steady, but we need to get him somewhere warm, quickly. Yeah, he's had a rough day. Let's get him home as soon as possible. Wait! Where do you don't think you're going? That's enough. Don't you think you've caused enough trouble? Come on, guys, we gotta go. Alright, let's go. La da 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 da. I'm gonna bury you in the ground. La da 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 da. Alright, let's go home, Basil. I got you, homeboy. Basil, what happened? Is he okay? His breathing is stable. He just needs a change of clothes and a warm bed. Okay, I can do that. Quick, come inside. That's his mom. Can you help me bring him to his room? Sure thing. Oh, phew, that was intense. I hope Basil wakes up soon. Alright, where's his room? I think it was here? Oh, right. His caretaker. That's his caretaker. Hey, Kel. Hey, Nora. It looks like Basil's gonna be just fine. I heard from Mom that Basil was missing and that you two were... Oh, sorry. I thought that was Kel. I heard from Mom that Basil was missing and that you two went looking for him. When I was running around the park, I heard some commotion coming from our hangout spot. I guess I got there right in the nick of time. So what was happening back there? Aubrey, she pushed Basil into the lake. What? That was Aubrey back there? No way. She wouldn't do that to Basil. I'm sure there was some kind of misunderstanding. She's not the same anymore, Hero. She's become all messed up after you left for college. Aubrey, what happened while I was gone? Maybe I should have never left. It's not your fault that this happened. Things could have gotten a lot worse if you didn't show up. You've done all you can. Come on, let's go home. You know, Nora, you were pretty awesome back there, jumping into the lake to save Basil like that. Even if Hero ended up saving the day, I think you deserve some recognition too. How about a high five? Do I want a high five, Kel? Yeah, I want a high five, Kel. Yeah! Alright, let's roll. I feel like there's something we're missing. Yeah, because apparently Basil did something. That's why Aubrey has this, like, animosity towards Basil. Hero, where have you two been? It's so late, everyone's sick. Sorry, Mom. We got held up. But the good news is we found Basil and he's safe.
I'll have you know, I spent all week preparing the chicken roast for tonight's dinner. And it's gotten cold.
Oh, Mom. Please don't cry. Don't worry, Mom. That's what the microwaves are for.
Oh, my poor dinner.
There, honey, cheer up. Today's a special day. There's no need to be sad. Look, Hero's back from college. It's good to see you back, champ.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, your dad is right. This is no time for sniffles.
It's good to see you back, Noro. We missed you all so much. Oh, it sounds like Sally's awake. I'll go get her.
Come on, boys. You must be hungry. Go on and help yourselves to dinner.
All right, let's go. All right, Zerfian, have a good night. Cool. Let's go grab some food and heat it up. You're too good at crying like a baby. Listen, I've worked hard on my baby cry, okay? I've perfected the technique. It's all in technique. Wait, hold on. Okay. Okay. Let's get some food. I got a home-cooked meal, but it's cold. Now that everything's calmed down, we can finally relax a bit. It's good to see you again, Noro. It really has been way too long. Oh, and it's good to see you again too, Cal. So, Noro, I heard from Mom that you're moving away soon. That sounds so exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he is. Tomorrow's gonna be his last day with us.
Moving might seem kind of nerve-wracking now, but it really isn't so bad once you get used to it. I think it would be good for you, Noro. You learn a lot moving to a new place, and it's nice to have a fresh start. I'm a little sad to see you go, but it'll be okay as long as we keep in touch.
We sure did have a lot of good memories together, huh? Sometimes I miss those days. Lazing around, eating food, drinking juice.
Yeah, we did everything together. We went to the park, the lake, the beach. But honestly, what I miss the most is hanging out at your place, Noro. You guys had everything. A big TV, all the newest toys, a grand piano, and of course your very own treehouse.
Oh yeah, the treehouse was awesome. I wonder if it's still there. Is it, Noro?
Looks like the food's done. Let's eat in the living room. We can continue chatting there. Okay, let's go. Okay. Sorry, I keep getting messages from people wanting not to text me. Oh, it's a squeak toy. Oh, I need a plate. I need a plate. Wait, do I need a plate? Why is there a ripped bear on the floor? It might have been... What's her face?
I offered to help your mom cook dinner tonight, but you know how she is in the kitchen. Make sure to tell her how good her food tastes.
Look, Hero, we got some of your favorites. Some chocolate chip cookies and a big ol' Hero sandwich.
Oh, how sweet. It's exactly the same as last year. By the way, Hero. Rip teddy bear, that's kumophobic. By the way, Hero. Basil gave Noro his photo album yesterday. Did you want to see it?
You have Basil's photo album on you?
Sure, let's look through the album and while we eat together. Alright, I think we've seen some of these before. This is literally me, by the way. This too. These two are me. These two, right? That one's probably gonna be me when I stream on my birthday, but yeah, definitely these two. Damn, it's a big ass present. It's too bad some of the photos are missing. Aubrey stole the album from Basil, but we got it back. Maybe she has the rest of the photos. Hey, Hero, what's up? Are you okay? Yeah, it's just that, well, Mari isn't in any of these photos. Oh, you're right, she isn't. Still, this photo album really brings back some good memories. Things were a lot simpler when we were kids. Noro, I have a favor to ask. Do you think you could let us see your house one more time before you leave? Oh, that's a good idea. But you gotta convince Mom first. She's probably gonna be kind of mad about you not spending enough time with her and stuff. You know how she is. Phew, what a mess that was. Sally made a little doo-doo, but she's all clean now. Hey there, Sally. Peekaboo. Stop it, Cal, you're scaring her. Hey, Mom. We were wondering if we could go hang out at Noro's house today, since he's moving away soon. Oh, but you just came back, and it's already so late. What about spending time with your mom? I'm going to be here for the rest of the summer, and Noro's leaving the day after tomorrow. We have plenty of time to catch up.
I think it's okay for Hero to spend some time with Kel and Noro. I haven't seen Noro around for a long time now. It's been a while since the boys have had a chance to hang out. I say we should let them.
Fine then. You boys can have your fun. But Hero has to wash the dishes with me for the next week.
Sure. I guess I can do that.
All right, you're free to go. Come on, Sally. Let's leave your mean old brothers alone. They don't want anything to do with us, do they, Sally?
She is kind of overbearing a little bit. Oh, Mom. Alright, let's roll.
You're scaring me.
Hey, so I'm really glad we get to hang out and everything, but I also feel pretty bad for leaving Mom all alone. Before we head to your house, let's go to Fix It and get some flowers for her. I know she'd really appreciate it.
Oh, Hero. Always a mama's boy.
Alright, let's go get Mom some flowers. Excuse me? Oh. There we go.
Why does the doghouse sparkle? I think there's an item there, but I don't really think items apply to like this place, like this section of the game.
Wait, where do we go to get flowers? We have to go all the way down? Yeah, okay. Welcome to Fix It, where you guys can buy stuff and fix it yourself. Oops, before I forget. No, here's some money for Mom's flowers. You don't think I would let you pay for it, did ya? I got $10 from Hero, wow. Wait. Mom's gonna love these flowers. Let's drop them off by my place, Nora. Him and Mari were the eldest members of the friend group, so they were closer. You're 80% sure they had a thing for each other? Is that like confirmed? Oh man, I feel bad for Hero. That's like his love. That's like his first love kind of deal. And she's dead. It's getting pretty late. We should probably head to your house right after this. That sound good to you? Oh, Mom, we got some stuff for you. Hey, Mom, I got you some flowers. Oh, are these for me? They're beautiful, thank you. Hero, you're such a charmer, just like your old man. I'm sorry for overreacting earlier. I know Noro is moving away soon. Try your best to keep in touch. Friends are harder to make the older you get. Mom, that's so depressing. We'll be fine. Yes, I'm sure you will be. Take care, Noro. Know that you'll always have a home here. That's our house. No, Noro, don't move away. Wow. It just hit me. It's been so long since we've been inside your house. Even though we live right next door. Time really flies, huh? Yeah, it sure does. Let's go inside. After you, Nora. It's really dark in here, what the hell? Whoa, this place is cleared out, Nora. Yuri, thank you so much for following. Your house feels a lot bigger now than that nothing's here. There used to be a couch here when we watched TV. We'd all come over every weekend and watch cartoons in the morning. Yeah, and this is a stain from that one time I spilled my orange Joe. Mari got so mad at me. Well, that's because her cat stepped in and walked all over the house. Oh yeah, huh? Oh man. It looks like it's getting too dark to go see your treehouse. That's okay. Maybe we can come back tomorrow. Wait, I have an idea. What if we just stayed over for the night? It's gonna be our last time in this house forever, right? And when will be the next time we can spend the night with Nora like this? I'd love to, but Mom's not gonna be too happy about it. She'll be fine. I'm tired of waking up at night because of Sally's crying anyways. You're gonna wash dishes with Mom for an entire week, aren't you? You deserve this. Well, that's true. It'll probably be fine. We live right next door, so we're only a walk away. Night Owl, thank you so much for following. Welcome. Okay, I guess we're going to bed. I remember this hallway. The closet was to the left, and the piano room was to the right. I wonder if the piano's still there. I'll go ahead and see. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's it? Don't judge me too hard. I haven't practiced in a while.
Okay, show off. Okay, okay. Okay, you don't need to flex on us. We know you can play piano.
Yeah, he's really good. He's good.
Show off. Yeah, no, literally what I said.
I guess I still got it. Hey, Noro, that reminds me. Do you still play violin? Oh, it's not here. I guess you already packed it up.
There was this song you used to play with Mari. It still gets stuck in my head sometimes, but I don't remember what it was called. Oh, I'm sorry, that's literally Hero.
There was this song that Mari used to play, but I don't remember what it was called. You two would play it over and over. We'd even hear it from our house sometimes. What was it again? I don't remember. I'm glad that someone's been taking care of Mari's piano. There's barely any dust at all.
How come Hero still remembers how to play all the good stuff? All good stuff. I can barely even read sheet music anymore. Oh, man, all of a sudden I'm getting real sleepy. Maybe we should call it a night.
Sounds good to me. I have to get up early for my morning jog anyways. So, where should we sleep, Noro? Probably somewhere in your room, right? I remember you used to hate sleeping alone.
Yeah, that sounds fun. We can sleep on the floor, if anything. Let's go find some blankets.
Hold on, Kel, wait for me.
Oh, this is so cute, dog. What the heck? Hey, Noro, we built a bed for it. Hope you don't mind.
This was all Kel's idea. I had nothing to do with it.
By the way, Hero, Noro and I got you a gift. It's Papa's Chips Off the Old Block cookbook. Do you remember this?
Of course I do. Man, I remember when I wanted to be a cook. It all seems so silly now.
Hey, you were pretty good at it. And you can still be a cook, Hero.
It's okay. I don't have time for that anymore.
But you really like to cook, don't you? And people have to eat, right? So, like, why not?
I don't think it works that way, Kel.
How much you want to bet the Hero stopped cooking when Mari died? I'd bet $100 on it. Oh, wait, no. I got it.
He's such a fast sleeper. Always been that way, I guess. Thanks for letting us sleep over, Noro. I bet it's pretty hard in this empty house, especially without Mari. I'm sorry I couldn't be here for you. Everything feels so different now. But it seems like you've pretty much stayed the same. It's kind of relieving, to be honest. It's really nice to see you again. I just wish Aubrey and Brazel could be here too. Anyway, sorry for ranting. It's getting late. I'll probably head to sleep soon. Good night, Noro. I'll talk to you in the morning. Alright, let's sleep. Oh shit, okay, okay, okay. Whoa. I'm alone. I'm alone. Why am I alone? Where is everybody? Mari's gone. Wait, where is everybody? A floating mirror. You are all alone. Do you want to play hide and seek? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Found you. Even the guy who sells his stuff is gone. Guys. Oh, okay, we can go up here. Hello? Mari?
Oh, Mori, you're here. I'm glad you found me. Cal, Aubrey, Hero, and all the children are gone. There's a thick fog enveloping the entire forest. Everywhere except here. Maybe our friends are somewhere across the water. Let's find them together. Do you want to join me?
Yes.
Thanks, little brother. I knew I could count on you. I'll keep you company so you're not alone. I know you really hate that.
Oh my god.
Steady your heartbeat. Don't be afraid. It's not as scary as you think.
I guess we're just swimming. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Whoa. Oh, there we are. Fusion, thank you so much for following. Welcome.
Amori, I'm so proud of you. You swam all the way here, even though you've always been terrified of water.
But there's still one big thing you're afraid of, isn't there? Something a little harder to overcome. Is it loneliness? Losing people? Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Have a good night. I might end the moment I get like another checkpoint. Oh. Domo, you want a kiss? It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grandpa. Happy birthday to you. All right, let's see. Damn, there's really nothing here, is there? Damn, where do we go? Oh.
Amori, it seems that you have forgotten something important. Are you okay with that?
I'm not too sure.
You've seen this curtain once before. The last time we went to the lake. This is my stop, though. I know I shouldn't have come. It just gets a little lonely without everyone. It's not my place to say anymore, but I hope you're still here, Noro. I really miss you. Goodbye, little brother.
Guys, I'm kind of speechless. I don't know what to say. We're drowning. We're going deeper. The M. We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. Into the sky, little Einstein. Thank you. Let's see, where can we go? Where the hell can we go? So we're in the deep well right now. Oh, clam. Damn, there's like nothing here. You should go to the last resort. Okay, let's go. Let's go to the last resort. Oh, a person, a person. Hey, Amori, there you are. Where you been, buddy? While you were gone, everyone got tricked into signing contracts, so we all have jobs now. We're growing up so fast. My job is to point people to the last resort. That's where I work. Ooh, there it is. But I gotta say, this job isn't all it's cut out to be. So why don't we get everyone to quit and get the heck out of here? Hero's been traveling a lot for work lately, but I know for sure that Aubrey's working on the 5th floor of the last resort. We should go find her first. And there's Mari. Hi, Mari. Hey, Mari, look who finally decided to show up. Oh, Mari, it's so good to see you again. When is it, Amari? Aren't you happy to see your big sister? Oh, that's just Amari being Amari. You can't blame him for the way he looks. Anyways, as I was just saying, working pays the bills, but it's not very exciting. So me and Amori are gonna get Aubrey and Hero, and then we're gonna find Basil. Oh yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Always happy to help. Let me know if you need anything else, okay? Nah, don't worry about me, Mari. The boss loves me. We'll be in and out of the last resort real quick, no problem. Okay, if you say so, Kel. Come on, Amori. I can't wait for you to meet the boss. He's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream for right now. I'm gonna go eat some food, and then tomorrow we can reconvene and we're gonna just yap it up tomorrow. We're gonna yap, we're gonna play some games tomorrow. So yeah, I'm very happy. We're like pretty close to the end, I think. We're on the last level, I think. So I'm very excited about that. So thank you everybody for being with me today. Thank you. Thank you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time. Okay. Good night. Mwah.